And welcome newbies to Henry's Man in the Box channel, right? And again, this is Henry Clark's channel. And what I do on my channel is I try to show you guys how to just get that little bit more out of the Band in the Box product, right? But what I've noticed recently is that a lot of newbies are having trouble in getting started. So this tutorial is about one of the fastest ways that I find to get started in using the Band in the Box product, right? And again, it doesn't matter whether you know how to read music or not. This is a fun way, in my opinion, in getting started in using the product. Now, that interface, and this is where people struggle a little bit because that interface has so many options in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down that interface to show you just the basic essential things that you need in order to get started using Band in the Box. Oh, and by the way, subscribe. Hope you guys like what I do. Please subscribe to my channel. And also, I hope that on my channel, you listen to some of the songs that I do. Whether you like the type of music or not, I don't think that's as important as seeing what the capabilities are and how you can adapt some of those same capabilities to the type of music that you want to do, right? So again, I hope you listen to some of the songs that I do just to see what the capabilities are and how you can get that more out of the product. But you got to get started somewhere. And I see a lot of comments from people in different forums about how do I get started. So again, in this one, we're going to focus just on getting started and putting a song together and playing a song through Band in the Box. Now, I'm starting from the fact that you already have the actual product loaded and that is functioning, right? Because I can't go back and figure out, all the drivers and stuff, right? That's not what this tutorial is for. This tutorial is for to help you get started in using the product. So I'm gonna head on over to Band in the Box and we can get started on Henry's method of quick starting using Band in the Box as a product. Okay, so I'm back. So again, this is basic now. We're talking basic ways of using the Band in the Box. You just got started. You just got the product loaded out, right? You go, okay, where do I start, right? And you're looking around and follow my mouse cursor. You're looking around and you see all of these menus here and all of this stuff. I'm going to call it stuff, right? Well, a lot of that stuff, if you're a newbie, ignore all of that stuff. I'm going to show you, this is my way of showing you the basic groups that you need. And it's actually very, very few when you get to the end of it, right? So you want to use this section right here, this transport section, right? All the way up to record audio. Don't go past record audio, right? So you're going to use your transport section to play, to generate, to loop, to play from a certain bar, stop, pause, and if you're going to do some recording, you can record MIDI, record audio. We're not even going to do that yet. We just talking about what? We're talking about 4 basic controls: play, generate and play, loop, play from bar, stop, and pause. That's all I want you to be concerned with. None of this other stuff. As you move forward, you will be messing with the other controls. But for right now, that's all you need to play your music. Now, under the views down here, this section right here that says views, if you follow my mouse, I'm going to do it really slowly, right? The view section, as a newbie, ignore it. There is nothing in that section that you need to start playing and enjoying the product. So just totally ignore that section altogether. The tools section over here, this section that says tools, ignore that section also. You do not need that section in order to get started having fun with the product. So ignore that section also. As you move forward, you'll be more adept at using the tool section. And the track section down here, I want you to ignore that section also. Real tracks, you can get that from another place, right? Real drums, user tracks, all that stuff. This is going to get you confused if you're not adept at using the product. So I want you to ignore that section also. So again, to play your music, generate your tracks, this is all you need is in the transport section: play, generate, loop, play from bar, stop, and pause. Stop right there. That is all that you need in that section. Now, the other section I want to talk about is, if you notice, I've got an untitled song up here and I've got a style in here. Now, don't get styles confused with real tracks. There are people that have asked me, what real track style did you use? That's not important. What it is, you've got a style. A style is the way the music is played, and a real track is the instrument that plays that music. So don't get those confused, right? But for basic newbies, you've got a style window here, and you can type in the title of a song once you get a song going, right? But more importantly is this section over here. And I'm circling this, and you'll see little I'll have little charts. I have a chart in the corner that just an extract that just shows that section, right? Where do you start? Bars you start from, bars you end at, number of choruses, and if you're a newbie, I want you to set that to 1 when you put a song together, because a chorus is a part marker, right? It's a repeat like you would see in sheet music. Ignore that and set it at 1, okay? Beats per minute, don't do a tempo tap. Do beats per minute when you want to adjust how fast or how slow the song is, right? Just use beats per minute. If you want to slow it down, just change the BPM and it will slow down. I'm going to show you all these things in a second. Your time signature, your field, ignore that if you're a newbie, because the field and the time signature is going to be based on the style that you pick. So you don't have to mess with that. And of course, the key. Again, a lot of the tracks that you use from Band in the Box start in the key of C. Now, if you know chords, and you know how to set your own key up, right? But you can also start from a chord pattern in Band in the Box and change the key to whatever you're comfortable with. But the default when you start the program up is the key of C. So again, what I want you to be concerned with in this section here is start, end, number of choruses, BPMs, beats per minute, and key. That is it. That is all I want you to be concerned with. So we went through the transport section, how to play the song. This section here that talks about how to set up the song. What's left? Again, I want you to ignore tools. I want you to ignore tracks. I want you to ignore views. Just use your default view, okay? So the next section that I want to talk about is what are the instruments that I am using. Now you have this entire menu up at the top: File, Edit, Options, Play, Melody, Soloist, Audio, Harmony, Window, and Help, right? Which is what we're doing right now, But you don't need those. The only thing you're going to need as a newbie is the file. And you might use the edit to cut and paste, but the file is the most important. This is the most important button right here as a newbie, is file, okay? So you have that. All this other stuff, this stuff across the top, the new open, preview, save as, MIDI, wave, all this. These are basically shortcuts. A lot of these same things sit in the file menu, but they're shortcuts. It's one click, right? I want you to ignore this entire section right here. Ignore that section as a newbie. I only want you to be concerned with what track is the instrument on. Bass, what instruments are you using? Bass, piano, drums, guitar, and any other instrument that you add. I want you to pay attention to that section here. So again, what we have is we have transport. How do I play this thing? How do I stop this thing? How do I generate this thing when I make changes? That's my transport function, right? How do I set the song up? I'm over here now. I set the song up with starting the number of bars, ending the number of bars, how many bars I want to repeat, the key of the song, and the all-important beats per minute, how fast or how slow the song is. That's all I want from that window. And across the top, bass, piano, which is what instruments am I using to play this song? I'm using and if it's green, of course, that means this is an active instrument. If it's white, that means that even though it says strings, melody, soloist, through audio, there's nothing assigned to those, and that's why they are white. If I start putting tracks against those, they will turn green. But again, for right now, bass, piano, drums, and guitar are active right now for this particular preloaded style that's already in here. That is all that you need. And I've shown you, and of course, you need your file menu. That's what you need. Now, lastly, what you do whether you read music or not. This is for people who don't read, because if you read music, then you already know what chords you want to put in starting at bar 1 and so on and so forth, right? But if you don't read and you just want to hear some styles, something that you might can adapt, then just go here to style. Do not go to song. Do not do that. Go to style. So click the style button, and I'm going to click the style button. Go to style picker. Hit style picker and select from up here what you want, what style you want, whether you want funk. If I do a drop down here, it shows me all of my different categories, whether I'm doing funk, whether I'm doing country, whether I'm doing classic, pop, ballad, all of them are here. And it's important that you set your time signature here to all time signatures display. Because if you don't know what the time signature is, right, then don't worry about it. So just set the time signature so all of them will display for your field, entire field, right? If you notice we got different fields here, don't worry about that at this point in time. Set your field, because what you want as many styles as possible to show up is what you want. So again, field, tempo. Again, the default tempos, right? Notice all these, you can actually set so only tracks in this tempo range will show up. Get rid of that. And the reason why is because you want to set for any tempo. The reason why is I've done a lot of songs that I like the pattern, but I changed the tempo. The song was a great pattern, right? But the song was too slow. I speeded the tempo up. Well, if I had the tempo set when I did this drop down, that style would never have showed up. So again, I use all tempos and type. I want everything, right? Whether I want real first, MIDI sorted to the bottom, I want all first. And the reason why they probably sort MIDI to the bottom is because if you do that, then it's going to play through your sound card. And we don't want it to play through the sound card if we have real tracks, unless it's something special that we're doing. So I want all my real track styles to show up first, and other, I don't worry about other. You don't worry about other. Don't even hit it. Don't even mess with it. Don't even mess with it. So this is all you need for style. Now you can do all this stuff here, right? And I have this in other videos, but that's not what I want you to do. Stay right over here and just do filter by, and in this case, I'm going to filter by funk, any time signature, any feel, any tempo, and any type. And it's going to show me all of these funk styles when I do that, right? If I go and change, if I say, okay, I don't want to do a funk song, right? I want to do an R&B song, right? If I go to R&B, boom, it's going to show me all of these R&B style patterns. And that's what they are. They are style patterns, right? That I can play and see if there's anything that I actually like, that I think that I want to carry a bit further. So again, what we're going to do is we'll pick a style. So I say, okay, I just got this open, right? I got my styles loaded, my style packs loaded, right? And I want to start playing around with Band in a Box, and I have a style in mind. Now, if I know chords, I might want to go ahead and type my chords in, but at the same time, I'm going to, and again, for those who aren't familiar with good chord structures, right? And here's another thing about, and I want to say this about chords too. A lot of people think, and I'll use the term think, that they know chords, and they do. And they do. But you can hear some very interesting chords sometimes by playing some of the patterns in Band in a Box, because like anything else, sometimes we are limited by our own knowledge, right? And sometimes we can learn some very interesting progressions that we had never even considered before by listening to some of the patterns that are within the Band in a Box product. So yes, we might know chords, and we know chords based on our own learned experience, right? But sometimes Band in a Box can also be a teacher for us to teach us different chords that we had never even thought of, or chord progressions that we had never even thought of, right? So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, and we're going to create something really quickly, right? I'm going to go to Style. I'm going to drop down Style. I'm going to go to Style Picker, and this time I'm going to do funk. So again, what did I say? I'm going to drop my categories down, and I want to see funk styles, and it's going to be right there. That's my funk styles there, right? And it shows me again. I didn't say give me a time signature. I didn't say give me a feel. I didn't say give me a tempo. I didn't say give me a type. I said give me everything. Give me the entire funk sync, right? So I'm going to do that, right? So I'm going to take a funk song or a funk pattern, right? How about this vintage electric piano? This might be something I might like. Okay, see, now that, I like that, right? Okay, so again, I like this funk 60s with a vintage electric piano, right? Let me start. stop it for a second. So I like that style. I go, you know what? I think I want to write a song around that particular style right there, right? What am I going to do next? Remember, we just heard the demo of the style, the song demo, right? I don't want to go and do a whole bunch of work. So I'm going to load right here. I'm going to load that song demo into Band in a Box. Now remember, it's a funk style. The BPMs is 100. So when I load this demo, and watch when I click load, and I'm going to click load, and it says, do I want it with the sax? This particular style has a sax solo. I don't want the sax solo. So I'm just going to load it as it is with the vintage electric piano, right? So I load it out. Once I load it out, I'm going to close this window here. So I'm going to go, okay, so what did I do? I said, I picked a style, I played it, thought I liked it, something that I liked. So I said, okay, load the whole thing out, load the song demo out with the chords, right? So I can hear it. So now this song is actually going to be in my chord sheet. Boom, and there it is in my chord sheet. So what did they use? They used a bass, a piano, drums, and a guitar. The BPMs is 100. Now they did put 2 choruses in here, which means it's going to loop at the chorus, right? It's got part markers in here, so it's going to return and replay those particular choruses. For practical purposes right now, to not be too long, I'm not worried about that, so I'll let that go, right? But the main thing I'm going to do now, I've got my chords in here now, right? Now, quickly, I want to talk about my mixer window. This is my mixer window right over here, and it is pre-mixed already. So what happened is that when they put the pattern together, they pre-mixed it already with the bass, the piano, the drums, and the guitar. Notice that they are green, and we are green right across the top here, which means that in order, I can play with my mixer and boost the sound for the guitar or bass or piano, whatever instrument. I can raise it or lower it, right? But again, I'm just starting out, so I'm not sure where I want to go with this yet, you know. So I'm going to play it. What did I say to play it, right? We only need these controls right here. Play, generate, loop, play from bar, stop, and pause. That's all we need. The rest of this stuff, we're not looking at that. I'm not looking at views. I've got my chord sheet right here. I'm not looking at tracks. I'm not going to mess with any tracks at the moment. I'm not going to mess with any tools at the moment, right? Again, I'm new. I'm just getting familiar with this thing, and I don't care about any of this stuff up here, right? So now, what did I say do? We generate and we play. So when I generate, it's going to play. 4 count intro. And there's the song right there. This is the quickest way I find to get started. It's got some decent chords in it. And notice the chords are kind of basic, right? You know, just minor chord. I don't see any sevenths in this particular pattern here. So now, all I have to do now is think about a melody, right? You know, maybe I can come up with some kind of melody for this thing. But it's done from a basic perspective. I have done that. So I didn't get confused with playing around with everything else, all this other stuff that's here. I don't need all of that stuff. I don't need this section over here with my integration stuff. I don't need that, right? I can do, if I like this right now, I'm already there. Especially like I said, if I'm a newbie now, if I'm gonna be as I move through and I advance, right, I might add some other real tracks in here. I might add some different guitars. You know, I may add some strings. There are all kind of stuff that I may do. I may change the beats per minute, right? Right now it's at 100. I may say, you know what? I think I want this to be maybe just a little bit slower. I will go over to this window. Notice I didn't go all over the place. I went over to this window, right? And I'm going to drop this BPM down. I'm going to make this BPM 90. So all I did was click on here. I'm going to change it to 90. And now it's going to be 10 BPM slower. Oh, I'm sorry. Whenever you make changes, just to be on the safe side, always regenerate. It's just one of those things. So just regenerate. Just make it a subconscious function. And see it slow down. And so I've got my song going, and that's all I've done is I just changed the BPMs. You know, again, notice when the pattern came in, they wrote this pattern in the key of G. Maybe I want to change the key, right? So like I said, I'm not going to mess with the time signature. I'm not going to mess with the feel. I'm going to mess with start bars, end bars, number of courses, BPM, and key. Those are all things. So let's see. Maybe I'll put it in B and see what it sounds like, right? So I regenerate, put it in B, and see what it sounds like. Maybe it sounds good, maybe it doesn't. And by the way, I haven't practiced this either. I haven't practiced it either, you know. I just did that because, and this is how I find stuff sometimes, you know, is that I'll just go in and change the key in something, change the BPM in something, and I'm off and running the functionality. But as a newbie, this is the fastest way that I have found to get started with the product. And by the way, I happen to pull a pattern in, right? I'm sorry, I pulled a style in, but I also pulled in the chords with that style. If I have my own chord pattern in mind, I'm just going to go in here and I'm just going to type the appropriate chord in each bar. That's what I'm going to do, right? But again, if you don't read or if you're not that proficient or whatever, right? Or maybe you know your chords, you just go ahead and type your chords and set up your own chord pattern and it's going to play accordingly. It's still going to play with that particular feel, with that particular rhythm. So again, quick recap. Oh, and the last thing, I'm sorry, and the last thing is if I like it, I'm going to save it. So I'm going to do a file. And I'm not going to do a save song. I'm going to do save song as. Save song as. Now, I happen to set up in my, this is my root band in a box. And I created a folder. And this, you should do this anyway. Create a folder called My Songs. So I created a folder called My Songs. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to call it, oh, what should I call it? I'm going to call it Basic BB, Basic Band in the Box, right? BASIC, Basic BB. I'm going to use this folder, right? So that's the folder I'm going to use. And I'm going to open that folder and I'm going to save this. And I'm going to rename it. I'll just save it as Basic BB, right? So again, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to type in Basic BB. Now, remember now, everything up to the dot, because in order for Band in the Box to play it, Band in the Box plays what we call .sgu files, right? So I saved it as that, and I have the song saved, and the song is Basic BB. Quick recap. Newbie, transport, I'm only using play, generate, loop, play from bar, stop, and pause. That is all I am using at this point. Setting a song up, I'm using start, number of bars to start, number of bars to end, number of choruses, and BPMs for the speed, and the actual key to song the song is in. That's what I'm using. I am not using anything from the toolbar. I'm not using anything from tracks. I'm not using anything from views. What's playing when I load that song up? It's gonna be green. So I'm looking across the top, and this particular style is playing a bass, a piano, a drums, and a guitar. If I look in my mixer window, right, it shows corresponding those particular instruments that are playing, right? It shows what they're doing, what the style number, what the real track number is for that particular instrument. And again, I can change all those around. If you want to do that, that's fine. But right now, until you get comfortable with what is going on, you can, just leave it as it is. And my style menu, don't use song, use style. I go to my style menu. I open my style picker. And when I browse, I make sure all of these across here, time signature, field, tempo, type, other, are set at default. And I just go in and choose the category of what type of song that I am trying to produce. In this particular case, I use funk, but I could just as easily change that to modern pop electronic. If I do that, it's going to bring in modern pop electronic styles, right? Oh, it's asking for more. I'm sorry, when I did that, dubstep, boy. Just bring in. I got some dubstep in here, right? Right? Probably not for most of you guys. Most of you guys probably not into dubstep, Or maybe you are. Maybe you are, If it's a style I like, what do I do? If I listen to it and I demo and I go, okay, this is kind of cool, right? What do I do next? I take that style and I load that demo. I want those chords and I want that style. And there it is in my window right here. And I am off and running. It is that easy to get started with this product. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope this helps. And again, this is basic. This is purely for newbies, and it is a basic way of getting started and having fun with the Band-in-a-Box product. Okay, see you next time. And again, if you like what I do, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.